Consistency is always going to be key, and compliance to that program is going to be key. There's no magic pill that exists on Earth.
All right, welcome to another episode of the Resistingbeta podcast. We are going to talk about a topic that is a little bit uncomfortable for me because I don't know a lot about it, which is fun for me because I am excited to learn and dive in. Here's some questions I have for Dustin today. His name's Dustin Baker. What does having low amounts of human growth hormone look like to the average dude? And why does your body need that? Because I hear the term HGH, and I start thinking about like Barry Bonds and steroids and all of these components that like I kind of want to stay away from that with a 10-foot pole. So I'm kind of curious what like a normal guy who, I mean, I'm fit. I prioritize being fit. But the more I learn about this topic, the more curiosity I get. So I'm glad we're doing this today. And what should men do before trying any sort of HGH or testosterone replacement, or even, how is it different than steroids, and all of these different components of this topic. And Dustin and I had a little bit of opportunity to get to know each other before this, and I don't want to stay too long on the supplement world. I think there's a lot of value you can add from just Dustin's perspective on the masculine approach and energy and all of these things. So a little bit about Dustin. He's the president of BioProtein Technology company and the creator of BioPro. And he's actually worked with some of the most elite professional athletes, trusted physicians, even private security and like military personnel, which sounds fascinating to me. And his passion really remains the same. It's to help individuals maximize their physiological and cognition safely, right? And Dustin's been doing this a long time, so man, I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate being on your show, man. It's always a breath of fresh air when I can be on a show similar to this instead of, some of the other types of shows that I'm getting on that are very, very specific and go down the list of questions and very boring, to say the least. So don't tell them I said that. But
right.
It's a breath of fresh air when I see this kind of come across my desk and I'm able to dive into a world that, I'm a part of, right? I'm an aging male. I am your audience. I am the same guys you talk to. So it's when I see this stuff come across my desk, I'm like, yes, I want to do this show. So I appreciate the opportunity to have me on.
Man, I appreciate that. So how can the men relate to you? I mean, let's talk a little bit more about that, because like most of the guys listening to this, just average successful dudes that this topic may not be super high on their radar. So how can we relate to them and speak to them where they're at? And why are you excited to help these men?
I mean, from what it sounds like, I am those guys, right? I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I work every day. Like I got people who depend on me. I got employees. I got business partners. I live the Americana dream, or in pursuit of that. I want the best for my family. I want the best for my friends. I want the best for the people that depend on me, and I want to be the best version of myself to offer that in whether it's providing for them, protecting them, giving them a better life than I had growing up. And that to me sounds pretty normal for a lot of guys that are probably listening to your show.
For sure. Yeah. So what would you say, like, when you meet the men out there, see the world today, the state of masculinity for most men is, I mean, in your opinion?
If we're going to be, I mean, all right, atrocious. That is the word that I have. The word is atrocious and disheartening, to be very honest with you, if we're looking at a broad scheme of men, whether it be, and again, I'm generalizing, but in a general perspective, the data would also support my use of that term as well. Physiologically, it is in a lower point than ever in recorded human history. There's even studies today that are coming out that are, now this is a mathematical calculation, but by the year 2045, 100% of American men will be sterile. So yeah, that's a real study. You can look it up. Go for it. If you want to email me, at me, that's fine too. We're at the lowest rate of the fastest rate of hormonal decline, the lowest rate of male hormones coursing through your veins in modern history, let alone recorded history. So the average human male today in his 20s has the hormone level of a man who's 67 in the year 2000. And if you want to rewind that back to 1944, you are looking at not only a cognitively completely different human being, but a physiologically different human being from size, shape, everything that makes a man a man.
Holy shit. So, man, that's an earth-shattering stat right there. No wonder why so many women complain about, like, where did all the real men go, right? It's
because they're disappearing.
Because they're disappearing. You know, all of these, and it's a topic when you use the word hormones, where men just don't talk about hormones, right? Women talk about it all the damn time. And in fact, we talk about them and their hormones because it's usually associated when they're at a time of the month that we want to stay away from them. But let's dive a little deeper there, and not necessarily stay about the overgeneralization problems in society type thing, but like, what should the guys listening to this, you know, I think we spend all day talking about the problems of today's world, right? But I'm more of a solutions oriented person, and something that I can take and I can control, you know, not like the politicians and all the crap and all that stuff. So let's go there. So what can we do about this, in your opinion? Like, what are you doing about it?
Yeah, a lot. There is no shortage of things you can do to improve, and we can stick on the term hormone. And I think it's important for guys to know what. Let's take it all the way back and define even what a hormone is, because that actually, a lot of people use that term. Speaking of, you know, maybe your wife uses it. Ask her. I don't know if you want to do this. Ask her what it actually is one time. But a hormone's super basic. It's very simple. It's a chemical catalyst. That is basically, it's a chemical that's creating a catalyst in your body to create a change. All right, that's why your hormones are secreted. They are certain hormones, like growth hormone, I'm sure we'll talk about, is a catalyst to the creation of what are called growth factors. All growth factors are cell signals. So all you're doing is your body secreting this chemical to create the catalyst to create some sort of change downstream, whether that's, you know, repairing muscle tissue, whether that's, you mentioned the word erectile dysfunction, whether it's nerve regeneration or blood flow, oxygen potency in the blood, like all of these things are spurred on by some sort of chemical catalyst reaction by a hormone to create the change. That's all hormones are. But there's no shortage of what you can do to improve their presence in your body naturally, even way before we even talk about the synthetic stuff, which is a big deal these days, with synthetic therapies, medical treatments, which have their place in our society for good purpose if they are deemed medically necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I see these billboards all over the place where there's testosterone replacement, and I've never ventured down that path. I mean, why is that so prevalent? Who is that prevalent for? And what should the average guy know about this topic before they even go down this rabbit hole?
Sure. So this is a personal recommendation, and I am not a medical physician, so that's important to state. If you have like specific medical questions or you have something specific about you always should reach out to, you know, maybe start your GP, ask your GP first, or find an endocrinologist or an anti-aging doc who shares your worldview and is able to help you. That being said, why is it a big issue, or what should guys look for? This is a personal opinion, and we get flooded with messages from users and patients, and because we work specifically in the medical community, as well as, you know, guys all over the world at this point, and we get questions a lot like, hey, what do I expect, or what should I do? I think before you ever go down the rabbit hole of synthetic treatments or even optimization treatments like life changes or products like ours, et cetera, you should really kind of come to a conclusion about what you're looking for first from yourself. Whether that is, you should do an internal audit. Where are you deficient, or where are you trying to make a change? Is it in your energy levels? Is it a libido issue or an erectile dysfunction issue? Are you trying to lose a few pounds? Are you trying to gain a few pounds? Are you trying to improve your physical performance? And maybe you're a weekend warrior and you're a cyclist guy, or you like to, you know, go grapple and go to your, you know, jiu-jitsu gym here once or twice a week. Like, you should do an internal audit and come up with what is the end result that you would like to see happen before you even start to looking at what treatments you should offer for that, because you don't know what you want yet. So until you have that specific audit done, then you can start to look at what options are available to you that fit your budget, that fit your risk aversion or risk tolerance level, because that is a whole nother thing we can discuss when you talk about synthetic or prescription therapies. And what fits your lifestyle. Is this something that you want to do every day? Is it something that you want to do once a week? Is it something that you're going to commit to once a month? Because it doesn't matter what drug, product, or life choice you're going to make. Consistency is always going to be key, and compliance to that program is going to be key. There's no magic pill that exists on Earth. If there was, my company would make it, and we'd be talking to you from my private jet flying to St. Bart's, but we're not. So, you know what I'm saying? So an internal audit is absolutely essential to finding out what road to partake on first.
So one of the things that pisses me off is when usually older people than me, like my dad's age, they're like, getting old sucks, Oh, getting old sucks. So like, well, because I'm having some back issues and some knee issues and I'm tired and that kind of stuff. And the initial response is, oh, it sucks to get old. And that just bothers the shit out of me, because I want to solve this problem and I want to continue to push against that narrative towards like, what if it's not just the fact that I'm getting old? What choices am I making that are causing these things, right? So what are some of the things that you have approached in maybe your life, or some of the men that you care about in your life, towards like they start having I'm getting old, or like my joints are hurting, my back is hurting, I'm tired, I need a mid-afternoon nap. I mean, how do we start just unpacking this a little bit at a time right now?
Okay, so I'm going to try and dissect your question there a little bit. If someone was approaching me in kind of with the getting old sucks type of thing, I think the first and foremost, they suffer from, this is again a personal opinion, they suffer from a mindset issue first and foremost, where you're going to have to probably, if you're really trying to help this individual, take business, what we do for a living aside, take from a personal perspective of myself. You're going to have to change your mindset, and you're going to have to help that individual change their perspective on what getting old is. And if they're having an issue of saying getting old sucks, the first question I would ask them is why? Why does getting old suck? Is it a lack of fulfillment? Are you, and that's a personal type worldview type deal. Are you, what are you missing or deficient in that respect? Or do you lack something? Do you lack a direct purpose? That's part of your life. Do you feel like your purpose is left from you? Now, if you want to take it to a medical or physiological side, why do you feel that way? From a sense of like, what are you not capable of doing, or how are you feeling separately that's causing you to not either participate or explore the purposes that you feel that you're called to in your life, or the events or things that you would like to do that you're being inhibited from, or you have an obstacle in the way physically that you would like to overcome to then help you to achieve the fulfillment? Because, if you want to boil it down, people don't always just work out because they like enjoy working out. I work out every day. I do a bunch of different stuff. I will tell you right now, like getting up early before my kids and like my wife and stuff like I don't want to get out of bed. Like I've never wanted to do that, but I do those things, or I participate, not necessarily even because I like them. It's because of what they give me at the end. Like they're a means to the end. So, or a means to the goal, if you will. And so the first thing I would recommend to anybody who's talking to me like that, whether it's an employee, a business partner, a friend, or a family member, is like, what's the end? I talk about this clearly. I've been talking about it for 10 minutes, but what's the end goal? What's the purpose? And what do you feel is inhibiting you from achieving that? Lack of energy, lack of sleep, lack of food, lack of water. Like it's all of those questions that you start to dive into, because all of those things I just mentioned can change your life within days, not months, not weeks. I mean, days. Boom. They can change how you feel faster than any product you're going to take is. And I sell stuff for a living, dude. So, I mean, for me to say that is like, it's real.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because I think that mindset is so imperative when it comes to what stories are we telling ourselves. And like, for example, like I had a chiropractor, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago, and I was complaining about my shoulder and my knee. And he told me, he's like, well, maybe you just need to stop playing volleyball. Like, maybe you're just getting to the age where volleyball is a sport you should stop doing, and you should do other things. And it really bothered me, especially coming from a holistic medicine type person. I was like, I don't necessarily believe you. Like, and it's one of those things. I think that if you let your mind take over, in these narratives of like, well, I'm getting older, so I should stop doing the things I really enjoy doing, versus asking yourself different questions. I mean, what is the line here? Because, I mean, you look at like someone like Tom Brady. He's my age. He's, 40 something, 42, I think, 43. And he's playing in the NFL. So, and we're made from the same stuff. He's probably he might have some more gifted genetics than me, but he is my 4-minute mile, right? No one believed that you could run a 4-minute mile until somebody did it, right?
Yeah.
So I look at Tom Brady, and it's like, okay, well, look at him. His skin looks better than mine, and I mean, he happens to have a lot more money than me, But
Yeah. I actually used to live. He moved, but I lived right across the water from her. Right, we live in the same town, so I'm in Tampa. So I live right down, a few streets down from Tom. But yeah, Tom does a lot of very specific things, though, and I think this is important to bring up because he's a great example. Tom, I talked to him like I know the guy. I don't know the guy. I've driven by his house a few times, but we go to the same restaurants. But Tom, is very specific in his training, his diet, his exercise regimen, he puts those things first for him, right? I actually know his personal chef, so I know what he's eating. I know what he's doing. I've spoken to her repeatedly. Actually, the guy takes it very serious. That is a huge part of his life is his food. I mean, to a fault. Okay, the food, the exercise. I mean, that is what he puts first. So it's no wonder that this guy is going to age at a different rate of speed than somebody who, on their way home, they're picking up whatever fast food chain you want to pick. They're picking up the easy, quick fix, right? And yeah, you're both right. I don't have a personal chef. Tom does. That's great. He worked for it. He earned his keep. But that doesn't mean that you can't make the exact same effort where, you put your money where your mouth is and you choose better options. You learn to cook. You learn to do the right thing. You get a nutritionist. I mean, there's no shortage of ways that you can actually achieve the very specific same things that he has. It's just a dedication type thing. I'm sure to his detriment, let's continue on the Tom Brady example. To his detriment, he's got more money than he could probably ever spend. So he could do a lot of terrible things with his money too. Frankly, he could spend his time doing a lot of different stuff. Guy's got a beautiful boat. Okay, he could spend all day on that boat. All right, and he could not go work out. He could wake up at 12 p.m. in the off season. He could go chill, go for a stroll. He could do whatever he wants. He chooses not to. Because again, he has a very different purpose that he set out for him in his life. He wants to succeed and he wants to be a champion. Now, I understand he plays football, but everybody here does something that they can be a champion at or that's important to them. So it's a gift and it's a curse. Everybody has the same tools. Even if some are less technologically advanced or less expensive, we have the same tools at our disposal. It's how you decide to spend your time and what is important to you.
So what can the average guy learn, from people? I mean, Tom Brady is just an example. So let's continue with that.
Let's continue with Tom, I guess. Free press for him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He
doesn't get enough of it.
Yeah, like he doesn't need it, yeah.
So the average guy, what kind of advice would you give the average guy on diet?
Here's free advice.
And what
free
they
advice.
choose.
Don't spend $1. Okay? The first thing you can do, and we'll even stay down the hormone track because that's what we do for a living. The first thing that you can do, it's absolutely free. Better sleep. 70 to 90% of all of male hormone production happens during your deep sleep cycles. Okay? If you're interrupted in your sleep, if you're waking up multiple times a night, if you're not getting to bed early enough, if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're all of those things that lead to poor sleep will inhibit your ability to secrete your natural testosterone, growth hormone, et cetera, as well as you should be. So you are causing yourself to age faster, to feel like crap faster, to not do the things that you want faster, and that is free, that is easy. It just takes a little bit of dedication. It takes a little bit of saying no to some stuff that might, it takes turn off the Netflix or a little earlier, right? It takes discipline. Okay, and discipline is not an inherent trait for any human being. It is a learned trait. So if you don't have it, which I didn't for years, you have to learn it. Okay, you have to execute it, and it's a muscle like anything else. The more you exercise discipline, the more it will naturally occur. Sleep is number one. I mean, you can change your whole life right now. Turn off the show, better sleep hygiene, fix your sleep. Don't actually turn off the show. That was a joke, but that'll immediately change your life, 1,000%. In my own personal life, I thought I was really cool, and I thought I was an athlete for a long time, and in my late 20s, and my entire life revolved around training. Okay, I am a very healthy male. I get my blood work done. I very rarely have any outside issues. I'm an extremely lucky guy from that respect. However, I'm saying that because by my own detriment, lack of sleep, overtraining, not eating enough, I was at a massive deficit of natural hormone production. I was experiencing very specific telltale physiological signs of hormonal deficit, and a lot of that stemmed right from sleep. I mean, boom, change it, get your sleep hygiene right, get your life right. That's a great step.
Yeah, we just had a couple episodes ago on sleep optimization. I love that topic, but let's continue through. So sleep. Okay, so let's say we're going to bed, we're getting our eight hours of sleep, we're turning off the screens, we're taking a walk in the morning and getting enough sunlight. What's next?
Water. So the average American, and I don't want to throw out a specific percentage here because I can't remember, but it's a massive number. It's well over the majority of Americans are chronically dehydrated. If you want to email me later, I can find somebody to get me that study and I can send it over to you. But massively chronically dehydrated. Why is that a big deal? Because the second that you are chronically dehydrated, you're nutritionally deficient, meaning you don't get enough calories. Your body goes into a fight or flight response. It spikes the hormone cortisol, which is a good and a bad hormone, depending upon when and who you're talking to. However, an elevated cortisol level throughout just life and existence is very bad for you. It's anti-catabolic, meaning it's going to tell your body to eat muscle mass. It's also going to inhibit your body's ability to secrete its natural hormone, as well as going to inhibit your sleep as well. So if you are dehydrated, you absolutely will be put into that fight or flight response, and your body will slowly shut down other processes because it's not adequately hydrated. And you can pull that right into nutrition as well if you're not eating enough. So the classic one massive meal a day, which technically, if it's enough calories, can sustain you, but it's not as good as having the correct amount of calories for you, your body type, your output level, your physiology, to keep you out of that fight or flight response. Because if you're starving or you're dehydrated, you will spike that cortisol hormonal response, which is going to shut down all the good stuff. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, the fight or flight, the more I learn about that, the more it fucks people up like crazy.
Fight or flight, dude. I mean, people don't realize that hormone, basically that the entire purpose of that hormone is, however long ago, if you were running from a lion or you're, about to be eaten by a predator, or you are, in a fight for your life, that is the purpose of that hormone to be spurred, right? It's what it does is it starts pulling the most dense energy source from your body, which is muscle tissue, okay? And it starts to use that as a caloric reservoir, or that's the best terminology I can have at this point. But that's where it's pulling its calories from, right? The most nutrient-dense particle of your body. That's not what you want for life. That's a spur of the moment. I just want to survive today. I'm in Idaho getting chased by a bear, and I got to run for fast. for a while. Don't run from bears, by the way. You're not supposed to do that. But I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that that's what I would do in that specific environment. I would just run faster than the guy next to me. But that's the purpose of the hormone.
Right.
But if you're at an elevated cortisol level for a long time, that's going to wreak havoc on not only what you look like, because you can see people these days that are just massively in elevated stress for years, because it's true, for years at a time. I mean, they look like it. You can tell. But not only that, but like your libido. That's one of the first things that'll go is your libido. You'll have erectile issues. You also start to gain fat like around your midsection. We call that stress fat. And it's like, a lot of guys are like, oh man, I can't lose this weight. I can't lose it. And I'm like, where is it? Without fail. Love handles, lower part of your abdomen. That's stress fat, dude. That is you're either eating too little, right? So your caloric deficit is too high where your body's stressing you out and it's eating muscle and storing that as fat. Or you're in that cortisol zone for a long time.
So sleep, drink enough water.
Yep.
We've talked a little bit about eating here. So
Yep.
what are some simple tips that you typically, you follow? What advice can you give the men?
For which part? All of them?
Eat? Like,
What do I eat? Marry a good woman, dude. Marry the right woman. That's my wife is the reigning world champion of that for me. I will tell you that. But prior to her, because she's phenomenal, dude. I like to always give her credit where credit is due, because she is as good as it gets from a wife perspective of, especially with food prep and stuff like that. But prior to her, food prep, man, meal prep. I'm a busy guy. I got employees. I got a business. I'm no different than anybody else. Meal prep. Figure out what you like. Make a whole lot of it. Figure out how much you're supposed to have. Preset aside those Amazon. I shouldn't name any brands, but there's a giant website on the internet that sells all kinds of stuff. You can buy these really cool plastic. We can get into plastic. You can buy glass as well, but little containers that'll perfectly segment your food. It's actually really good for timing, so you can get other stuff that's important done in your life. Once that stuff is done, man, and it again, discipline is a muscle you exercise, and the meal prepping that's not like a secret, man. That's just a massive life hack.
Right. So are you just like a balanced diet type dude? Like just vegetables, fruits, keep the processed foods down, or do you follow particular, keto or paleo or what?
I have done a lot in my life, Andrew. It depends upon the goal where you're at. I can go by what I am doing now and what serves my purposes now. But I used to do the weighing all of your food, macro stuff. By the way, 1,000% works. Okay? Mm-hmm. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say your excuse is, because I've had them all like everybody else. You dial in if you're real serious, you dial in your macros, man, and you actually know what you're doing. Do the time, do the research. It works, man. I mean, you can get shredded. But again, it depends on what your goal is. That is
How about maximizing your hormones?
Okay, well, number one, you need to figure out how much food you need to eat.
Okay.
So if you're not eating enough calories, that is not going to help you, because your testosterone production, growth hormone production will go down, because those are some of the first things that are going to be cut off as soon as you're in a too far of a caloric deficit for too long, I should say. It's not going to happen in the first 72 hours, right? Because somebody will go, well, no, that doesn't happen if you don't eat. Dude, I get, it is what it is. It's after a long period of time, okay?
Okay.
Too long. Week, 2 weeks, etc.
So when the calorie thing...
Yeah, yep.
I mean, I do intermittent fasting. It's something I've been an advocate of for a while. How does one figure out if they're eating enough calories? Okay.
Well, in today's day and age, it's 10 times easier, a million times easier actually than it used to be. In the old days, you used to have to go figure out what your basal metabolic heart rate is, your resting metabolic heart rate, do a bunch of math equations, get a notebook out, and then you'd have to track all this stuff for a long time. And these guys, I don't know how old you are, but if you've been in the gym and you see those guys, I mean, there's notebooks, they have all kinds of stuff. You don't even have to do that anymore. There's apps. There are online tools that you can probably, use one of your most favorite search engines and type in What's my metabolic rate? How many calories? I bet if you typed in right now, how many calories do I need a day? There will be a calculator that'll pop up, or a website that's sponsored by somebody, but the calculator still works. Height, weight, energy output level, or what you would recommend or not. And here is a free plug, because I've met these guys. I like them very much. I haven't spoken to them in a couple of years, but I've used them in other businesses that I've owned and run. There's a really great company called Renaissance Periodization.
Oh yeah, we had Nick Shaw on.
Oh, okay. So I've met and hung out with Nick Shaw and Mike. It's been a few years, but I hung out with them at the Fit Aid party booth at a CrossFit Games one year in Wisconsin. But yeah, I know. I haven't talked to Nick in a long time. But yes, their company's phenomenal. I mean, they are a real company, and here's what I love about their program. And guys, I have no discount codes for you. I do not get paid by them. Nick probably has forgotten that I exist at this point. So it's not that. It's that I really believe in their program. And here's why. It's an app, super cheap. It'll figure all that stuff out for you. And it takes all the guesswork out of it, because it even has like grocery lists and what foods you're allowed to eat, have you ever used their app?
Yeah, I played with it for a little bit.
I love it. It's awesome. It keeps you on track. It dings your phone when it's time to eat, dings your phone like if you haven't eaten, if you've missed your meals. I mean, it's cool, man. I don't use it anymore because I didn't want to live that lifestyle anymore of weighing everything and putting that stuff in. So now what I have done is I've used that long enough to learn and know how much food my body kind of really needs. When it comes to ideologies or methodologies of nutrition, I'm a meat and fruits guy. So okay. I'm not a huge, big fan of vegetables. I haven't seen a difference and you can freak out all you want, but there's, there's people can oh, no way. Listen, I get it, but the data's on both sides about vegetables specifically. It depends who you want to follow on the internet. Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's so damn confusing, because there's
it is what it is. It depends who you want to follow on the internet. I think there's a good middle ground. I ate Brussels sprouts Sunday night. It's cool. I'm not against vegetables. I just the way I want to look in the way that I feel, I get everything from fruits and meat. So I like to eat. I'm actually in the middle of a certain time of year right now where those things change. But normally in my diet, it's eggs every day, dude, without fail. Eggs are men's natural, Earth's, God's multivitamin, straight up and down. Eggs are as good as it gets. If you want to live forever, eggs. I'm serious, man. Eggs, and then I do red meat every day. I typically eat a steak every day, sometimes twice, and then I have fruits on top of that. That's how it is. I get my blood work done. My blood work's great. I'm considered to have, from what I hear, high testosterone for a man who doesn't. I don't use any synthetic drugs. TRT just ain't for me. It's for a lot of other guys, but it's not something that I personally need or use. So if my blood work says I'm good, my doctors say I'm good, meat and fruits are the way that I go.
Yeah. All right, so we got food, water, sleep.
Yep.
We got about 10, 15 minutes left to chat here. Sure. So let's round this out. Is there anything else that we're missing from this
I think everybody needs, you need exercise. Okay, so exercise is going to increase all of your efforts. It's going to optimize all the efforts we just talked about. Food, water, sleep, all of those things, they all go hand in hand. These are all puzzle pieces, right? None of them are an absolute on their own. They're puzzle pieces to a complete life. So you have to have a little bit of all of them. Okay? And if we left exercise out of this, I mean, that would be the dumbest thing ever to do. Then I deserve every email that I will get. But exercise is 100. I just never lead with that, Andrew, because then it's like, oh, exercise. Yeah, I get it. I've heard this. No, you have to have exercise, but we'll throw that in at the end. I have my own methodology and ideologies of what I subscribe to. I will tell you that high intensity interval training, or HIIT training, if you will, is known and scientifically proven repeatedly to increase hormones like growth hormone. Because growth hormone is a pulsating hormone, meaning it's not only secreted at night, it pulsates, and you can activate its pulsing, and you can do that through exercise. So high intensity interval training is scientifically proven without a fail that to help spur the creation of growth hormone, which is actually the master hormone. That's the master hormone, whether you're a man or a woman. for metabolic function, for muscle development, fat loss, like insulin issues, all the types of stuff. It's all coming from growth hormone. And in fact, a lot of guys don't even know that to absorb or use testosterone, natural or synthetic, optimally, you have to have adequate growth hormone and its end result, which are called growth factors. That's a scientific fact. So if you're not addressing both testosterone and growth hormone, you are medically, statistically, and physiologically at a disadvantage.
All right, so we got the basics there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
And the gentlemen are sitting here like, dang it, there's all these things I know, but I'm not doing them all.
Welcome to life, dude. Like,
right?
I mean, come on, man.
That's why you started with mindset and discipline. I like where we're going here, man. To where it's like, it's keeping those promises to yourself based on what you know you should be doing, and there are certainly promises of miracle pills out there to where if you have a lack of discipline in one of these areas, then they can help supplement a little bit, right? But in the end, just figure out your shit.
You just got to try.
Every day.
You just really have to try consistently, right? It's easy to say, people will be like, oh, it's easy for you to say, but like, listen, dude, I mean, I didn't start this way. I was a fat kid growing up. I was massively overweight. I was a massive degenerate through my 20s, drank, smoked cigs, like all the worst stuff, drugs, all of it, like everybody else. Okay. So I'm no different than anybody else. It's just trying. You just have to try, and you have to stay consistent. You have to, it's better to do something every day, even if it's a little bit, in each one of the categories we just talked about, but hit it day in and day out in all of those little categories. Like, make yourself a checklist daily and just say, did I exercise? I don't care if it's 20 minutes, man. 20-minute exercise. 20 minutes every day for 6 days a week or 5 days a week is better than 1 hour on Monday. You know what I mean? So 20 minutes, 30 minutes every day, boom, boom, boom. You'd be surprised how fast that goes. Turn off the television if you're a TV watcher. Put down whatever you're doing by X amount of time at night. Like, you just have to do a checklist, and little things all add up to massive. They call it the accumulation effect in business. It's all of these little things that you do every single day, and the snowball starts to roll. And then, if you're an entrepreneur or a business developer, it's all of these little actions over the course of 6 months, a year, 5 years, 10 years, and before you know it, you're on a completely different planet than everybody else.
Hey, man, it's all those little things that stack up.
Yeah.
So there's a couple questions as we round out the episode here. This has gone super fast. So the question I ask every single guest is, what does it mean to be a man to you?
I'm a St. Ignatius of Loyola guy. It's men for others. So what a man's responsibility to me in this world is you're responsible to those around you. And your job is to take care of, if you have one, a wife, if she has been good enough to you to provide you offspring, to provide for you offspring, to provide for their spiritual and physical needs. Those are your goals, and that is your responsibility to them. Then it's to your community, right? We wouldn't be experiencing anything we're experiencing right now in the world today if men didn't take responsibility for the areas around them and surrounding them, and not saying, that's not my job, that's not my fault. No, that's incorrect. We were put on this earth to serve and to work. You can go, if you're a scripture guy, guess what? You can go all the way back to Adam, because that's exactly what he was told he was going to have to do, is he was going to labor. And that is your position in this world, is to labor for others and to serve others. So if you take that as your personal responsibility, even if it's, again, starting something small, that is your responsibility as a man, and that is true masculinity. And I will add this to that point. There was and I fail at remembering what saint it was. I love the saints, dude. Whether you're a religious or you're not, if you want to look at discipline, about self-sacrifice, about dedication to a specific worldview, there's no better place to go than to the history of the saints for their determination and their lack of bending to the will of others. But the golden rule is, treat others how you would want to be treated. Well, how can you possibly treat somebody else well or how you would want to be treated if you do not know how to treat yourself. And that was a quote from, I think it was like St. Catherine or something like that from a while. But, don't email. No one's going to email me about that, so don't worry about it. But, if you don't know how to treat yourself and you can't take care of yourself, how could you possibly be expected to take care of another human being? And that gets lost on me a lot in society. Is like these people, generalizing. A large population on this planet, especially in our country, actually doesn't know how to take care of themselves. How could you possibly take care of somebody else? How could you possibly, if you can't protect yourself, right? Physically, mentally, how could you possibly be expected to protect somebody else? So it's a personal responsibility for you to be a better man, a more masculine man. That's what masculinity is to me.
Love that, man. There's a lot there that I think that it would be beneficial for you.
Yeah,
to
I talk
pause
fast,
this.
so.
Pause this and just listen to that again. And just see how it reflects to where you're at, your actions, where you're at today, what you're doing right now, and how that's the results that's generated in your life and how that makes you feel. So another question I always like to ask, Dustin, is when I always like creating quick wins, momentum, because I think that as entrepreneurial men, as leaders, we hear something like this and we try to do a ton of crap at once. I call it like the 75 hard effect, where people look at this list of things to do and they try doing it all at once, and there's a 99% failure rate.
Sure.
And then you beat yourself up over it. So what is some simple things to where if there was one thing over the next 7 days that men should do to gain some momentum based on the topic that we talked about today?
Okay. So remember, not all of this is without a purpose if you don't know what you're trying to achieve. So the fastest way to fail is to not have a finish line. If you're going to run a race and you don't actually know when the race ends, how do you know what success is like? And I think that's directly to your point about setting up quick wins, because quick wins are how you're going to continue. I think the first point is to figure out what you want that finish line to be. The second thing is I'm a big believer in exercise. That is what changed my life for the better. And I was a very different person prior to it. And it gave me that accomplishment. So I will tell whoever you are, do a workout. Do a workout. First thing in the morning. Wake up. Do not hit snooze. David Goggins is a great dude for this. He's like, dude, do not hit snooze. No snooze. The alarm goes off. Get your feet to the floor. Okay. And get a workout done. I do not care. Nobody cares if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or if it's 3 hours long. That would be the worst workout ever, but you don't need to do that. But the point is 30 minutes, and just check that off your list. I can personally guarantee you that if you do that and you check off that workout first thing in the morning, your day that day will be better than the days than without, because you will have started doing something that is hard. You will have forced yourself to do something that you will finish and accomplish, right? It will end. And you go into the rest of your day of people that depend on you with you already have personally, physically accomplished a very specific goal for yourself. And your confidence will go up with everything else that you do. Happens to me every day. Every day that I train, because I miss workouts, and I'm bummed about it. Because I know, it felt good to sleep, or felt, I came up with whatever excuse existed of why I missed that workout. Because I'm telling you, I'm no different. Then the days that I go and I get my feet to the floor and just check that box, man, the rest of the day is a win. It's all downhill.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I was just having this conversation with my girlfriend to her, what is self-confidence, and why, when I see these men, why are they not confident? And self-confidence is repeatedly keeping the promises you made to yourself over and over and over and over again. And it's labeled as discipline. But discipline is something that you can easily say, well, I don't have discipline. I'm just not a disciplined person. It's like, well, then you're great at lying to yourself. And do you want to be that? Or do you just want to keep those promises and give yourself the grace that if you haven't been keeping promises to yourself, maybe you're making promises that you can't keep where you're at. You may have been able to used to 10 years ago, but for whatever reason, you're at where you're at. So just let's keep some baby promises. Something that you can do that's doable, and just do it over and over again. And if it's the food prep, if it's a 20-minute HIIT workout, if it's not hitting the snooze, I mean, that day's a win, right? Give yourself the grace of that win and then stack them. Stack those wins, man. Just keep doing that on repeat and see where you get in the next 3 to 6 months. And I bet it'll be a hell of a lot farther if you're trying to do some super drastic thing where you're trying to cram in a 90-minute, 5-mile, whatever, bike ride run that you haven't been doing, So
everybody loves a comeback, man. Everybody loves we live in America, dude. We're the land of comebacks. Everybody loves a comeback. So if you have failed repeatedly or, you didn't live up to it, now is your chance, man. It's always better as a comeback anyway. So if you failed, even better to you because the win is like 1,000 times sweeter.
Yeah. there's whenever someone says the word comeback, there's a story or there's a clip from one of the actors that he has a comeback story. I'll link it in the notes. It's escaping me right now, but it's a really inappropriate joke. But I won't go there because I'm going to butcher it. But anyway, man. So now, Dustin, how can the men? What should the men know about your guys' product and you if they want to find a little bit more about BioPro and what it helps people with?
Yeah.
Give it a little bit of a couple minute promo for it on.
I mean, dude, BioPro is really simple. It's an alternative to growth hormone treatments. It's a potential alternative to the synthetic therapies you might be looking for. So what we do is instead of giving you the synthetic drug itself, what we have done is we have created a formulation from extraction of from other animals. So it's a completely non-synthetic formula. It's absolutely bioidentical to the human body. We're just giving you the cell signals that hormones create. So we can give you the same cellular trigger to trigger metabolic function, muscle development, body mass, libido, etc. We can help to work on those issues without ever injecting you with a synthetic drug. So we were able to give you the same type of benefits without the side effects, any of the issues, no needles, all that kind of fun stuff. So it's been a big hit in the communities you mentioned at the the beginning of the show, whether it's military, tactical, athletic. I mean, it gives guys an option is what we do. And my whole goal and focus from a long time ago in business was to help the guys that I am, the type of guy that I care about to be the best version of themselves, to be able to wake up every day and look in the mirror and kind of like just feel the way that they used to feel. Look in the mirror and have that same type of confidence they may have had in their, their early mid-20s. We all wake up older every single day. And a lot of guys wake up and they look in the mirror and one day it kind of just hits them. They're 40, 44 years old. They're going through a divorce. They just finished a divorce. They're unhappy in their marriage. They look in the mirror and they're like, what happened to me? Like, we know what happened to you. You put your kids first, your wife, your girlfriend, your significant other. You put your job first. You put all these things first before yourself. You wake up that day, man, and you look in the mirror and you're not who you thought you saw. And our purpose and mission in the world today is to help guys all over planet Earth, to help them feel great. And when they look in the mirror, look who they want to look like. Look who they see that they are themselves inside. That's all that we do.
And then I've checked out the product on the website here, and the testimonials are impressive. And if you are doing the basics and you want a little extra oomph or, speed it up the process a little bit, try it out. Because it's from the testimonials and that kind of stuff. I have not tried out the product myself yet, but it was speaking right to me because, sexual performance, energy, sleep, all these things that you can figure out on your own. But sometimes you need a little extra oomph. And if you want to put some investment behind that, it's there, So I appreciate that topic, Dustin. And if men want to follow you and ask questions, where's the best place for them to reach out to you? We
live through no effort of my own. I mean, this happened against every recommendation I made to our team. I was never a big social media guy, and this just took on a life of its own. But you want to see who we are, the type of guys that use the products. You want to see what they say about them because people are not – it's the internet. People are very open about what they like to say and what they do. Instagram, dude. Instagram is where that brand lives, and it's at BioProtein Tech. So it's at BioProtein Tech. Go check us out. Go give us a follow. And if you have questions, if you have comments, concerns, throw them in the DMs. They will get answered. We're a real company. We exist here in the United States. We don't farm stuff overseas with our customer service. You're talking to a real live individual. I know we're laughing about it. It's like shocking these days, but no, we're a real place. We have real people who work here, and somebody will be able to help you out. Or even if you have questions for like a doctor. I'm not a doctor. The person who's talking to you isn't a doctor, but we have physicians who provide our products all over the country and all over the world at this point, and we could potentially help get you set up with somebody in your area if you want to take it a step further.
Hey, man, I appreciate the information, and I just want to take a second to honor you for the man that you are right now.
Don't do that.
I really appreciate. Well, man, I'm going to do it. So I appreciate the level of investment that you have put into yourself and the presence that you carry. Because I believe that healthy masculine energy creates a ripple effect, because it sets a bar. It shows the men out there that, hey, like one, you're human. You're like, you don't have it all figured out, but you have systems and processes in place that help position you as the best version of yourself. So I want to just honor you for the time that it takes, the discipline that you have invested over the decades of your life to become the man that you are right now, so you can create an amazing product like this, but more so you can impact men from one man to another, from one conversation to another. And I just really honor and appreciate that about you.
Andrew, I'm going to say this. I know that our time is probably already run out, but I really think it's necessary to say, like, I appreciate that. But the only reason that I am even in this position then today is because somebody did something for me, right? It was another man that took me under his wing. And I think that's why this is so important is, as much as I, try and help out other dudes and stuff, it's your impact in life. And I'm saying this to the people listening is like, you don't realize the impact you can have on somebody else by being the right type of guy and by living the example. Everybody hates preachers, like people that are just spouting rhetoric in your face all the time, including myself. Okay. The way around that and the way to make real change in this world is to live the example. It starts at home every single time. So, and I'm no different. Somebody got into my home real quick. And when I was a young man and gave me the ability to change who I was. And, everybody is, if I can do it, believe me, we didn't get into that, but if I can do it, I promise you 1,000%, every single dude listening to this absolutely can.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right, so I'll stop it there. One thing I do with each episode is give you the opportunity to create a 30-second trailer to promote the episode that we just recorded, answering the question, why should men listen to this episode? So,
oh, wow, this is brand new, dude. Okay, so
yeah, so put your best pitch hat on and just promote the episode that we just did.
Oh, man.
And answering the question, why should men listen to this?
Is this going to go to editing, or is this going to be just a straight play?
I'll go from whenever you go. Usually most people get it on the first try, and I know you will too. It's just leading from the heart of like, hey, why should men listen to this episode, what we just talked about, and whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Because we'll use it on social media and stuff, so this would be kind of like the promotional clip.
I hear you. If you are a guy that is over the age of 30, 35, and you feel the need inside to make a change in your life or to a change for others around you, and you see a direct need for men to become more men, whether it be spiritually, mentally, physically, or just to be present in their day-to-day lives, I mean, this is probably the show for you. We just start to scratch the surface on the world. What's happening to guys everywhere, why we feel the way that we do, how we can change that right now, today, and how we can change it for the future. So if that's something that sounds like it's of interest to you, you should definitely check the show out. And maybe you'll learn something in the process. I know I did, and I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it.
Awesome.